Hey guys, this is Dr. Hub. In case you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe for updates. Sphenoidal sinus. So, this sphenoidal sinus, it occupies the body of the sphenoid. So, it occupies the body of the sphenoid. Next is the ostium of the sphenoid sinus. Next, there is the ostium of the sphenoid sinus. So the ostium of the sphenoid sinus, it is situated high up in the anterior wall. So the ostium of the sphenoid sinus is situated high up in the anterior wall, and it opens into the sphenoethmoidal recess. So it opens into the sphenoethmoidal recess. So we're calling it SC recess, sphenoethmoidal recess, and medial to the superior and the supreme turbinate. So this will be medial to the superior or the supreme turbinate. Next, how is it lined? So the lining is by a ciliated columnar epithelium. So sphenoidal sinus, the lining. So lined by the ciliated columnar epithelium. So lining is by the ciliated columnar epithelium, and this is along with the goblet cells. So the lining is by the ciliated columnar epithelium with the goblet cells, and the cilia are more marked near the ostium. So cilia is more marked with the ostium, which facilitates the mucus drainage into the nasal cavity. So cilia is more marked near the ostium, which facilitates the mucus drainage. So it provides the mucus drainage. So mucus drainage into the NC, that is a nasal cavity. So what are the relations of the sphenoidal sinus? So before we move on to the sphenoidal sinus, let's look at the rough diagram. So let this be the pituitary gland. So pituitary gland in the sella turcica. Next, beside this, there will be the ICA, internal carotid artery. Then there is presence of the cavernous sinus, so this is nothing but the cavernous sinus. Then below the cavernous sinus, there is also the sphenoidal sinus, which is present. So this is the sphenoidal sinus, and then below this will be the anterior part. So this will be the posterior, this will be the anterior. So here there will be the nasopharynx. So above the pituitary gland in the sella turcica, this is the optic chiasma. So optic chiasma, this is superior to the sinus. This will be superior to the sinus. Now let's go into theory. The lateral wall of the sphenoid. So the lateral wall of the sphenoidal sinus, the sphenoid, is related to the optic nerve and the carotid artery. So we saw this. So the lateral wall is the optic canal, optic nerve, as well as the carotid artery. Then we look at the floor. The floor of the sinus is related to the Vidian nerve. this is a new nerve we need to know. There is a Vidian nerve which is on the floor. Next is on the anterior part. So in terms of the anterior part of the roof, it is related to the olfactory tract. So anterior part is related to the olfactory tract, as well as optic chiasma and the frontal lobe. So this is what we saw in the diagram. So there was the olfactory tract, there was the optic chiasma, as well as the frontal lobe. So OO, optic tract, optic chiasma, also olfactory tract, optic chiasma and the frontal lobe. Then on the posterior part is related to the pituitary gland in the sella turcica. So posterior part is related to the pituitary gland. This we saw in the diagram for the sella turcica, as well as the CES, that is a cavernous sinus. Cavernous sinus. To learn and grow daily like this, please do subscribe.